Hello, my people. It's Dahlia.
And Nicole.
And this is Quiche My Ass. We're finally back. It's been a week since we haven't recorded 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we did skip a week. It's been a lot. We've all been busy.
So busy.
We're
moving. Both of us. We don't live together. Just saying.
But
we're moving.
We're moving at the same time.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. Nicole's been working a lot. A lot. It's like you're back into working restaurants.
Yeah, like 100 hours. So much that my boss got me a hotel room 2 nights in a row, so I didn't have to come home.
Sweet, fluffy little plush pillows.
I got a 2-bedroom suite.
Nice! Which bed did you sleep in?
I randomly didn't even...
I need to know.
I didn't know it was a 2-bedroom suite until the next day. So I came in, I went in, I slept in just like one of the double beds.
Oh, it was a 2-bedroom.
2-bedroom. And then I come out in the morning,
creepy.
I'm like, there's a whole nother bedroom and a whole nother bathroom in here. And it was the master suite, and I was staying in like the little teeny bed. But it was fine. It was great. It was also snowing, so he wanted to make sure that we made it to work
safe. That's nice.
Safe, and that we weren't going to call out because of the snow. So
what are the odds that somebody does that? Like,
well,
boss-wise.
He did it.
That's very nice of him. And your company for doing that.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, work's been crazy, but it's been good.
Work's been fine for me if anyone's asking, but that's okay.
Nobody's asking.
So today we have a special guest. Nicole personally knows her from like childhood. So yeah, teenage. You're a child when you're a teenager. For anyone that's out there and you're a teenager listening, you're still a child. So you guys were childhood friends.
Well, actually, we weren't friends.
Oh, okay.
No, we worked together. My first job ever, she was working at this place called Casey Jones. She was actually in Italy at the time, so I started, and everyone was like, you're going to love her. When she comes back, you're going to love her. And I'm like, who are you talking about? And so I started. I worked there maybe like 2 months, and then she came back from Italy. Her name is Kristen, by the way, if anyone's listening. I'm sure they are. But she came back from Italy. She had been doing an externship that later I ended up doing the same externship. And then she moved to New York, and then I moved to New York. And I've kind of followed her a little bit here and there, except I didn't go to London with her when she left. But today our special guest is Christin Bourgoise.
And what does she do for a living?
She is a chef de cuisine at Le Pavillon.
Executive sous chef.
Sorry. Oh my gosh. Should I do that?
Oh, no. No, that's perfect.
No, I don't know. She's the executive sous chef at Le Pavillon, one of the one of Danielle Boloud's new restaurants opening in the city.
But she's the type of chef that chases the stars.
Yes, the Michelin stars.
The Michelin stars.
Yes, you could say that.
I feel like you do. You're always in like the places that are like
the best
of the best, and I'm just like, how do you do that?
But
we're gonna talk about that.
She's a friend, but also a mentor, and also she's probably the most passionate chef I've ever met in my entire life. And
is that a good thing or a bad thing? You both are just
there's ups and downs to that, but yes.
There's a lot of passion in cooking, but I think she exceeds all expectations and the most passionate for sure, and a force to be reckoned with. So, Kristen, welcome. Cheers.
Hello, thank you very much.
Yeah, we're gonna cheers for all of you to be jealous. I'm having a good espresso martini and
I'm having some champagne because it's much needed.
Yeah.
But thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here as well.
So we talk about you chasing the stars, right? So some chefs, I think on this podcast we talk a lot about all the different jobs and the different things you can do when you're a chef, or you can be a farmer or a som. But what we haven't actually talked about is a chef. We haven't sat down.
Have we not talked to a chef?
No, we haven't sat down and really talked to somebody who just loves cooking and wants to own a restaurant and will never look back and never change their mind.
Absolutely not.
And so I think that
Do other people think you're insane for doing that?
Absolutely. All the time.
Okay, good.
Even people even
it's
chefs.
Not just you.
It's not just me. Everyone's like, wow. Yeah, chefs don't even want to own their own place and run it.
Yeah, no. I even had to talk my newly husband.
Nice.
for this.
Congrats.
Thank you. Because when I met him, I told him my passion of at one point owning my own place, and he's like, he had his own reasons for, because he's a chef as well.
He has valid reasons.
Valid reasons. Everyone has valid reasons. I mean, there's the official, very common quote that everyone says is like 90% of restaurants fail. You know, like in the first year, right?
I don't like that people say that constantly.
I don't like that either, obviously, but
I
it
really
is a
don't
thing.
like that. Yeah, we were taught that since we were forever and ever.
Yeah. So it didn't always start off like that for me, though. I mean, I think when I first started cooking, I wanted to do catering, which is actually ironic because that's what you wanted to do when I met you.
Wow.
I mean, you still
not when you
enjoy
met
it.
me.
Well,
I had no idea what I wanted when you met me.
Yeah. Okay. You wanted to because you went to DC after. And then that's when you did the catering
Have you ever
company.
done catering?
Yes, very briefly. I mean, most of it was with Danielle.
So when you were younger, you're like, I want to do catering, like for
yeah.
weddings and stuff.
What was the most elevated one in DC? You know it. Not Eaton Smiles was very good, but there was another one that was a catering company. It was like Ridgewell's.
It was yeah, because I worked at Eaton Smile, but it was Ridge. What is it? Why don't I know?
Ridgewell's, I think. But anyway,
can you look up
our
the
ghost
catering?
host is gonna look up.
This is your cue, Thomas. So, but anyway,
it was no, because I know quite a few people who worked. They did both. They worked at. Why can I not?
He's gonna
think
find
of the name?
it. That was the point.
But
you
anyway,
have no internet because this is your first time.
Yeah, because this
anyway.
is a new laptop.
So Thomas has told us that he was going to do the research while he's on here, and
give me a second.
He was busy.
He's busy.
I don't know. While he's looking that up, it was just more so that I did an interview with them,
Okay.
like, as a project for the school that I went to, which is actually the same school that Nicole went to as well. And so I went to this catering company. I asked a bunch of questions, but I had not worked in a restaurant yet at that point. Mm-hmm. And my first restaurant experience, that changed my vision of what I wanted. And at that point, moving forward, I wanted to work in a restaurant for the rest of my career. But then as I got older, that's when it more so strongly I wanted to be owner of that restaurant.
It's Ridgewell's. Ridgewell's. You're right.
Yeah. So this place.
How am I even supposed to find that? Like DC catering companies?
Yeah. No, but
So
it's Ridgewell's, and they have special occasions
Yeah.
as well. That's another one.
Yeah.
That's the name of it.
they're still around.
How
am I supposed to look it up?
Yeah.
I found it.
Wait, so you went? Did you just did an interview?
Yeah, like I had my little voice recorder with me.
What?
And I had all these questions about like how many employees they have.
Oh, because you had to do it for school.
It was for
thought
school.
This was like an interview, like you had an interview with them.
No.
Oh, so you weren't trying to work
just
there.
a very,
you just had an interview.
just a very good
Wait, but
student.
at that time you were working at Casey Jones.
Huh? No,
That was before.
It was before, I think.
So then, when you started at Casey Jones, is when you decided that you wanted to be a chef for the rest of your life.
There was one moment that I will never forget.
Wow.
Where I was like, I want to do this forever. That moment was
Charles there?
Charles was there. Charles was our sous chef at the time.
Okay, Charles is a sous chef.
He was our favorite sous chef.
Our favorite sous chef.
Was there more than one sous chef?
Well,
Yes,
they were
there
both
was
great.
there was a
Shout
morning-
out to
a
the
morning-
shitty sous chef that they're not loving.
Well, it was not
That's
that we
really-
didn't love him. Rest in peace, Mike Knight, though.
Yeah.
Mike Knight is deceased.
Yeah,
But,
which was
Oh my gosh, is that the other sous chef?
yes. He's AM.
no, he was AM
He was
sous chef,
AM.
and then there was a PM sous chef, but we
Exactly.
didn't
Okay.
work AM.
Dolly is an asshole, I guess.
But no,
you didn't know.
The thing is, he would have loved to hear that. He would have loved that because he
He was strange, but
Yeah.
he was great.
He was great.
He was great. I mean, at the time when you're young, you don't gravitate towards him. You gravitate towards Charles because Charles is more nurturing.
like more
And
of a
he's
teacher.
more quiet. He's more quiet. Like so you almost when someone says less, the things that they say you appreciate more.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas Mike Knight was more like always talking shit, blah, 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 blah.
I think that those are always the two different kinds of chefs.
Yeah.
There's
sure.
the ones that are talking shit and the one that you want, like, full-on mentorship from.
Exactly.
Let me follow you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what was the moment?
So the moment was I was working grill station because after only a couple months of working Garde Manger, they were like, well, we're gonna move you up because I was really pushing to learn everything. So
How old were you, by the way?
19.
Okay.
And so I don't know, I was we had a grill station and it was probably burger night. It was probably a Thursday. I have no idea what day it was, but I'm guessing because that was a shit show day. And I had like 40 tickets. I mean, and the machine just kept going and just kept going. And like Charles is like, you know, it's okay, we got this, just work on this. We're working side by side. And I just remember being like, oh my God, I love this. Like, I don't want to do anything else but this. I remember like even my eyes getting kind of watery, like this is amazing. So I think that moment.
So it was still a good night from all the tickets
Oh, yeah,
coming
like-
in. It was like the best night where you're just like, wow, I could do this.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people that are in our business, they love the adrenaline part of it.
Yeah.
I think that is definitely something that people talk about, but people
But
also
it's
handle it
hard when
differently.
you're going to school for culinary and like you're not fully like aware of exactly what you want. You know it's in this industry. And then they find that moment where you're like, oh wait, this is why I'm doing it. Like I found it in catering. You found it in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I found it in catering, but I also found it working at that restaurant where it was a crazy night. I remember it was like Valentine's Day, and it was just Charles and I on the grill station, and I felt like
I think you told it on the podcast before.
maybe, yeah, it was like this moment where when I was younger, I had really bad anxiety, like anxiety attacks, but it almost felt like working in a kitchen like replaced it. Like all of a sudden all that energy was going towards this thing that I love doing.
Yeah.
And you don't even think about it. Your body is making movements that you're not even like you're not even in control of it. You just do it, and it's so crazy.
Yeah. I feel like we should find Charles, and like the fact that we've had two great moments come from him.
Yeah.
Like him being there. Like
For sure.
What do you think he's doing right now?
I don't know.
I
Not
have no
good
idea.
things? Like
No,
married with kids? Like
The last I heard, he was getting a divorce. So
Yeah.
and it's
shout out to Charles. Everyone, some people need divorces. What do you mean? Like, good for you.
Yeah,
If
we-
you're
we
unhappy,
could-
get the fuck out. You know
we
what
could
I mean?
talk about that another time,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there was definitely magic in that restaurant. Like there's
So-
something.
I mean, even the chef Gary was
Yeah.
from CIA, and he, I mean, in such a small town, he did a lot of things for
That's
people in that
awesome.
industry.
yeah,
Because he had an apprenticeship, which Nicole and I did not do, but he had an apprenticeship within the restaurant, where you could learn and work there. So, I mean, before I was there, I knew chefs that had worked there before, and he was buying whole animals and doing demonstrations. He was doing a lot of things.
That's fun.
That's
That's like a good kind of restaurant. You
Yeah.
never really talk about the restaurant that much.
Yeah, where he
Yeah,
was
and
really
you were a
focused on
baby.
it.
I was young. I was like, I started there when I was 15.
Yeah, he was really focused on learning as well as being a paid employee.
But I remember because he left when I was there. He quit like abruptly, and it's so silly that I'm saying this, but I was in like English class, high school English class, and they told us we had to like write a poem or something. I literally wrote a poem about my chef quitting. And everybody,
That's
Gary,
the
he
emotions that
quit.
Nicole
I was
carries
there the day he
around.
quit.
Oh yeah, because I know
The
about
thing
it.
with
Okay.
whatever,
With,
Paul and Lisa.
Paul and
We'll
Lisa,
talk about
yeah.
it later.
Right, yeah.
Wow.
But
We're getting
he-
some
he-
scoop on this restaurant.
But he quit abruptly and like brought everything with him, and he like threw a plate out in the dining room. It like shattered. It was this big ordeal.
Big
It was
ordeal.
like right in the middle, like right as the service started. And I was there when it happened, and I was so invested in this restaurant. I wrote this like poem. I wonder I don't know what
This
it
sounds
was.
like the moment in Chef, the movie, where like, you know what I mean? Where they're like, you can't do your menu today. And he was just like, fuck all of
Exactly.
you. The critic is here. He like threw chocolate cake at him, and he's like, "You're gonna fucking eat it because this is what I have to fucking make."
It was really the big moment, and then he
that's-
went and opened another restaurant down the street, but I never went there.
Oh.
But anyways,
the Blue Dog,
Tavern or Saloon, whatever.
Blue Dog.
So I know you guys are hearing very humble, nice Kristen, but I want to go and talk about our first impressions of Kristen, and then we're gonna go into like who Kristen is, because like right now she's being like, you know,
and we'll talk about where the other places she's worked. Like it's nice to talk about the beginning.
Yes, it's crazy where you have been and where you are and your future. You're nonstop. Literally
can't stop,
won't stop. Yeah, literally. That's gonna be the name of the episode.
Like Thomas's face is like, ew.
We're cheetah girls, cheetah sisters, guys. Anyway.
Okay. What's your first impression?
My first impression was Nicole always talked about you at work.
Oh.
And all of a sudden, you just show up one day and you're talking to Nicole and you talk to me like you actually know me. And I'm like, who is this girl? Like, I don't know who this girl is. She's just popping in and talking to Nicole like she knows her. So maybe I should know her. And, like, we talked like we knew each other. And then you were like, I'm coming in tomorrow. I'm working butcher. And I'm like, who are you? Like, what do you mean you're coming in and working? You just come in, you say hello to everyone. She says hello to everyone. And I'm like, I have no idea who this girl is. And then you say, Kristen. And I'm like, okay, so her name is Kristen. Literally next morning, you're there before me. You're working with Cyril on butchering. And you're like, I'm practicing each station, so when I go to France, I'm good. And I'm just like, what? Who are you? I still did not understand who you were. And then I, like, finally got the grasp of it. Like, midday, I was like, oh, okay.
No, I get it.
She's the girl that, like, you know, doesn't work here anymore, but everyone still loves her, and she gets to just have fun in the kitchen.
Yeah,
before you like came just to hang out for the week, pretty much, just to learn a little bit.
Yeah,
more.
and she did a big event with us.
Yeah,
with the
JFK still
brothers.
talks about that.
Yeah.
What was the event?
You're talking about it this? No,
but
not
you
in Lyon.
were you in
No,
New York
no.
when I met you? Like during that time where you're like, I'm going to France. You weren't in New York.
No,
for
she
a
was
while.
back in DC at that time.
Are you sure I didn't meet her when I was working at Cafe?
No,
I don't think so.
No.
I knew you weren't in New York.
Okay.
I was like,
so I was still in DC
like, this
then.
girl acts like she works here yesterday. And, like, a lot of people come to Danielle and they act like it's their family again. And, like, that's, like, their root. Like, I feel like if I walk in, I don't shut the fuck up anyway. So, like, I walk in and I'm talking for hours to a person I barely talked to when I worked there. So, and it's the same. It's the same. So you did that. And then she started telling me a different side of you of when I met you. And I was like, I don't see that in Kristen. And then this is Nicole's impression of Kristen when she first met her.
No, I think, well, when I first met Kristen, I was like, this girl is a psycho.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I didn't see that.
Not necessarily. Like, it was just funny because everybody was like, well, when you meet her, you're going to love her. You're going to love her. You're going to love her. And then I met her and she's like, we're power washing the floors together, and she's like rolled her pants up to her knees, and she's like tiptoeing around in the water, like, don't get me wet. Yeah, I'm gonna have to soak these pants. Like, she was just being a psycho.
I've calmed down a lot since then, but maybe
no, you haven't.
Well, for some things, maybe not.
No, but there was never. I mean, there's a reason we stayed friends. Like, it's not. I didn't think you were a psycho enough to not.
Nicole's friends with psychos though, so like, hey.
No, but I noticed there was something different about you than all the other chefs. Like, different than Charles, different than like everybody else.
And then I started seeing it where I was like, wow, wait, this girl's like no bullshit. Like come
you
to work
just
and work.
You just wanted everything to be perfect all the time, and you also wanted to teach.
Yeah.
Like, you really cared about it. When I told you I wanted to go to culinary school, you started calling me. I wasn't the one calling you.
Yeah, no, I don't know why I was very like.
Do you find certain people to like take under your wing and you're like, let's do this together? Like, I'll help you out.
Yeah, because I feel like I was fortunate enough to have some guidance. I mean, obviously, like, the person themselves needs to do the work.
Yeah.
But like, if I didn't have Harlan pushing me to go to Italy, I wouldn't have gone to Italy.
I wouldn't have gone to Italy if I didn't have you pushing me to go to Italy.
So
isn't that awesome?
It's crazy.
There's like So when you could say it, not that this is like something that I made up, but like a pay it forward kind of thing. It's like you need advice when it comes to something that's unknown. It's good to have an opinion from someone,
or a little push too, just being
or a little push because
because you were
I thought
probably
you were about
like
to ruin it.
You probably told Nicole you're like Italy changed my life, it will change yours.
Absolutely, and that's also
and
why
it did.
I said it.
It did 100%. And
because
then
you see something that you're never gonna see that here.
Yeah.
Never.
And then Restaurant Danielle changed your life, and
yeah,
I came and stayed with you in your apartment, and I came and did a stage, and I was like, that moment, I'm like, Thomas and I got out of the stage, and I was like, told him about the night, and he was just like, so I guess we're moving to New York, and I'm like, yeah, we're moving to New York, just one night, like that's all it took.
That's
it's
what
just so
happened to
crazy.
me.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
I mean, it was the same thing for me because after I worked in DC at Citronelle for, I think it was like almost 2 years I was there. I was fortunate enough because David was the chef there. David was very helpful for me. He said, tell me all the places you want to go and I will make the phone call. So I told him David Boulet, Danielle Boloud, and Eric Repair. And so I staged at all three. I stayed, the place that I worked at in Citronelle, they were connected with a hotel. And this hotel has sister hotels. The Roosevelt Hotel was
so
a
your
sister.
chef got you a hotel too. Where's my chef getting me hotels?
Well, I mean, it was like a discount.
I know.
It was a discount. It's not like he paid for the whole thing.
Right.
It was a employee discount, which was nice.
Yeah, that's
for
very
a Roosevelt
nice.
Hotel in New York City.
That's
Did
nice.
you stay in the one
super
on the Upper
nice.
East Side? Is it Upper East
Yep.
Side? Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
which
always
was perfect
pass by
because
and like watch the people coming in and out.
which is perfect because
Danielle's right there.
Exactly, Danielle's there.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to go downtown
It's
for
like-
Boulet, but
No, you were in the city. I
was
stayed
in
in
the
Brooklyn
city.
for all my stages. That was the worst decision of my life.
oh yeah, Brooklyn's the worst when it comes to like commuting into the city for
For
something
the first
short.
time.
Yeah,
For the
exactly.
first time too.
That's what I mean.
I was like, wait, why do I have to go an hour and a half to get to some place?
Yeah.
Like this
No
sucks.
one told me that. Why are you in Brooklyn? I stayed with my cousin in Greenpoint.
Well,
so.
okay, so it's
my
free.
fault.
Why not?
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about Citronelle? Because I know when I was
You want Nicole to laugh?
No, I don't.
when I was
Just trying to mute it.
when I was getting to know you is when you were leaving. You were like, yeah, but I'm leaving. So like you were teaching me, but then you were leaving.
Yeah.
So you went on to Citronelle, which is this great restaurant in DC. And do you want to say a little bit about it so that because the listeners are probably like, what's Citronelle? I don't know.
Absolutely, because
I don't know.
Because every place I've been to, I've had like a
explain it.
moment where something where I feel like people can call it luck, but then other people, like my friends, my dear friends, when I say I'm lucky, they look at me and they go, "No, you deserve it."
Because you're a hard worker.
Right, but there's moments where like was it hard work / a little bit
it's
of thing?
hard work. That's
because so after my time at Casey Jones, I needed to move on. It's time to go to DC because there's more competition when it comes to restaurants. I put my resume everywhere. All the top restaurants. I remember sitting down with Harlan, who was our chef instructor at the same school Nicole and I went to, and I basically printed out a 5-page packet of the top restaurants in DC, and we circled them together. That was what we did in like a lab room in HCAT.
Yeah.
You know, like in Glen Burnie.
In Glen Burnie, Maryland.
Glen Burnie, Maryland. That's what we did. We circled all the best ones.
Which,
So-
if you don't know, that's like right outside of Baltimore. For the listeners.
Yeah.
So she didn't go to Baltimore. She went to DC.
Yeah, no, don't go to Baltimore.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
go there, but that's where our school was.
yeah,
So.
that's where
It's
our
gonna
school
be the
was.
next Detroit, where like Detroit's popping off right now. So calm down.
Or not. Okay, so anyway, so moving forward, I applied to a bunch of places, and then I had a couple stages. There was one or two that I did. One was Cafe Atlantica, which was a Jose Andres place, not the mini bar, which was the 3-star. They didn't get 3 stars
They
at that
don't
time
have
yet.
that restaurant. Jose doesn't have that one anymore.
Not anymore, but
Right.
this was
It was
10 plus years ago.
Yeah.
So,
but it was before mini bar.
yeah. Well, no, mini bar was there because Cafe Atlantica was in. Like, minibar was inside of Cafe Atlantico.
Okay.
The original minibar was inside of Cafe Atlantico.
Okay. I didn't know that.
So they didn't have any spots available for the minibar, so they were showing me Cafe Atlantico. And I was excited, but I was just like, oh, well, hopefully they call me back. And I was waiting, and they said,
so
no,
you just
sorry.
went to one.
I just went to one.
And you were like, I'm waiting. And then you didn't hear anything.
And we didn't hear anything. So I was like, I was kind of disappointed because I thought, oh, well, I've been here, I've done this.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, they know that I'm a hard worker, not that I, like, have tons of experience, but I did my Italy internship. I worked at Casey Jones. Like, I have a little bit of skill. Yeah. But then, I think it was the next day or maybe within the week, I got a call from Citronelle, which at the time, so Michelin was not in DC at that time, but for sure, thank you. For sure, Citronelle would have had 2 stars. This is a Michel Richard restaurant.
Does it have anything now?
Well, it closed down a couple years after I left, and Michel Richard is dead.
Oh, okay.
But it closed down because
I just keep asking you
'cause of the
questions and they're all gone. I'm so sorry.
Because I'm old now.
No, but the restaurant, there was a fire or a leak.
It wasn't
Water damage. How do you remember?
He just
You
looked
Googled
it up.
I just looked it
I
up.
remember
Yeah.
it was something.
Ghost Host is
Google that
doing
shit.
something.
It was something
Google
really
host
bad
at
that
this
ruined.
point.
Oh yeah, they had
destroyed
to
the
leave.
restaurant.
They had to leave
Yeah.
like in the middle of service.
Wow.
I wasn't there. I had already left. I went to
Imagine
New
being
York.
in that service.
2012.
Yep. So I left in the beginning of 2012.
So the restaurant just
graduated high
because
school
it was
that year.
underneath of a
I don't wanna
hotel.
hear
Because it was underneath of a hotel, right? That the hotel had
Yeah,
water
it was-
damage that ruined the restaurant.
Wow.
that hotel was the Latham Hotel, and it had needed work from like 10 years before, and that work wasn't.
So was
being
this like
done.
an old
So-
fine dining restaurant? Like,
Well, the restaurant wasn't that old. It was more the hotel that it was in was old.
What kind of restaurant was this?
French.
French fine dining.
Yes.
Like price range. Was it a
Oh, I
tasting
don't
menu?
remember.
Well,
It
she
was
said they would have had 2 Michelin.
They would have had 2
if
Michelin.
it was
Okay.
If it was, but they had a lot of great things there. And he already had a great restaurant in California before. He's first and foremost a pastry chef, and then
Nice.
he was a savory after. So a lot of his
I
food
feel
is
like
very
those kind
playful.
of people like
He's
definitely
very playful.
succeed very well. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're just good at both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was
know.
good.
So after Michel Richard, you went for the next big chef, Danielle Boloud.
Right. So David, who was a chef at Citronelle, had gotten me. He made phone calls to all 3 places.
Wow.
David Boulet, Danielle Boloud,
Right.
and
Eric Repair.
Eric Repair.
Even if you didn't work at those places, like it's still nice to just go into those kitchens and just see how it's ran.
Yeah.
Like, was that just like a fun experience to just like?
Oh yeah, for sure, because you see how different everything is. Because Danielle and Eric Repair were 3 Michelin star, and then David Boulet I think was 2. Yeah, I think it
Wow.
was 2. But I went to David Boulet first, and I was like, nice, but no.
Yeah.
More so because they were doing shift pay. Do you remember that? Or are you too young for that?
No, I'm too young
so
for that.
they were doing like just come in as many days and we're just gonna give it to you for the week
It's
sort of situation.
$500 a
That's
week.
what
or
they
some
do
shit
in
like that.
like in Europe. They do that. They give you a salary for the week, and it doesn't matter how much you work.
I don't know what places you've been working, but most places it's bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly is even worse.
Right, but it's
No.
but it's not per.
bi-weekly.
No, monthly.
So every other month you get paid?
No, every month.
Right, but you get every
Bi-
month, but it doesn't matter
monthly.
how much you work.
Is it
You just
called
get.
bi-monthly?
No, it's not called bi-monthly. It's just monthly.
But you don't like,
I'm like,
in those
what
places.
does that
It doesn't matter
mean?
how many hours you work. You just get paid per month. That's
It's
it.
salary. Everyone in the universe is salary in Europe.
Wow,
There's no hourly.
This is the hourly.
it doesn't matter.
There's
You
some
matter.
there's some hotels that do hourly, but like
You don't. It doesn't sound like you like hourly. What do you like? You like
no, it's not about what I like. I don't do this for the money.
Yeah.
So I don't-
Obviously, you chose the wrong
Clearly.
career if you were doing it
I
for
don't
the
do
money.
this for the money, so I don't worry about this. But when they mention shift pay, it's not about the money. It's about
You're in Manhattan.
being in Manhattan and the fact that
Yeah, 500
I
a
don't-
week.
I don't I just didn't. I thought it would be something where they kind of take advantage.
Yeah, which they would have. Because the benefit of working like at Danielle, even making 10, 20... Sorry.
Sorry, she's the problem always. Yes, you are.
Even making $10.50 an hour, you can still come home with a $900 a week paycheck because of how many hours you work.
Because you work overtime.
Because you work so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but during the summer I didn't. And, like, I found out, like, the first summer I was like, oh, okay, so I'm only making 40 hours a week. I gotta, like, figure it out. Yeah. So the second summer I was lit. I was, like, going to the beach every day. Like, I didn't care. And everyone's like, how are you doing what you're doing? I'm like, because I was broke last summer, and I need to save my money.
In the winter. Yeah, you have to. But, okay, so you...
Anyway, yeah,
we're moving forward.
Dahlia saving her money in the summer.
I'm very glad you were very responsible. So, after, David Boulud, I was like, I liked the food. And the chef was very nice. I met him. I talked with him. He was very cool. But then I went to Le Bernardin, and I liked Le Bernardin, but there were two things. Maybe it sounds kind of weird, but the outfits were one.
You chose an all-white outfit?
You chose white pants, white...
Sorry, no one knows what we're about to say.
No, what I'm saying is that they were wearing all whites with the hot dog hat.
So was Danielle.
No,
yes.
Not when I was there.
When I was there, that's what they wore.
That's what we had to wear.
Well, I'm very sorry for you, but that wasn't the case.
Would you like mustard or ketchup is what I wore every day.
With the white pants.
I wore black pants with a skull cap. I never wore a hot dog hat.
Oh, we wore hot dog hats and see-through white pants.
Okay, so then that was way after me.
That was like playground for the men, but for the women,
we were like mortified like every day. There was one day where I bent over and the pants just like, because they're made for men, they're not made for women, and my butt's nice not it's pretty round. Yeah, it just split open. We had to I'm on the sidewalk and my pants just split open on my way to an event. I had to wear an apron front and back to cover it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's besides the point. Okay, so you were there at Danielle,
and so my third stage was Danielle, and JFK, the executive chef, was off that day, and the chef and the chef de cuisine was there. Eddie.
Who was it? Eddie. Okay. Why would I ask?
Why were you asking?
I don't know. I figured
chef de cuisine for like 15 years.
No, maybe longer. Yeah.
Yeah, way longer.
And I met my first moments in the kitchen was with Olivier downstairs.
Yeah.
Mine too.
Because I got there super early, so none of the kitchen upstairs was there.
No, they get there exactly when they're supposed to be.
I got there an hour before because I was so nervous. Yeah. And Olivier was just like, "Oh, pick some crab for me, ça va." so I'm doing this with the crab, and until Eddie arrived, and then I was upstairs, and I couldn't believe how there was a lot of intensity, but very relaxed at the same time. But this was also a different time than when you came.
You were
because
there for the 3 stars.
Yes, I was there for 3 stars. So there was more visas than there was Americans.
That's how it started when I was there.
More French visas.
No, more visas in general. No. You had 3 Germans,
you had Korean, you had
3 French, 2 Korean.
Yeah.
I
think it was the most diverse kitchen.
It was incredibly diverse.
It was incredible. I loved it.
Nicole was the only other English speaker when I started. She was the only other English speaker. And there's like 50 chefs walking around.
No, it's true. It was for a long time. Like, it was really beautiful because there's so many languages spoken in that kitchen.
Yeah.
Korean, Japanese, Spanish. I mean, French, German, Italian.
It was nuts.
It was really awesome.
Yeah.
I picked up nothing.
Well, I pretended like I knew how to speak Italian, but I wasn't very good.
Nah.
And the French, it was just too confusing.
You could tell what they're saying, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, I'm not going to be part of that conversation. I'm glad. Let's go.
Which is also good in some points.
Yes, it is.
Because a lot of the talking in different languages is shit talking, so you shouldn't be a part of it anyway.
So you chose Danielle.
The amount of times you hear somebody going, oh my God, I can't believe they just said that. I'm like, well, they're speaking French. And they're like, oh, I know French. And you're just like, what are they saying? Because like there was so many people that like people don't realize that other people actually know other languages.
Yeah.
like, I understand Portuguese, so, like, Spanish right away, like, I could get it. Like, and I know, but, like, there's, like, certain Mexican slang I don't understand. And I'm like, what does verga mean? Means dick. Anyone was wondering.
I think, like...
They're like, verga. I was like, what does it mean? And they're like,
why do you
dick.
keep talking about your dick?
Yeah, that's what I was like, why do you keep saying it? So that I kept saying it everywhere. But anyway, so you liked the diversity of walking into and women, too, were working there.
No.
No?
Not when I was there. But this I didn't care about because I work less well with women anyway, so I'm okay with this.
You liked working with us.
Yes.
Kind of. Okay, so you chose Danielle.
I chose Danielle because of the food. It was more my style and my vision of what I thought that I liked and what I wanted to, because
you're much more of a meat eater than a seafood eater.
Yes, this is true. Nicole knows me so well.
But I'm the complete opposite. I should have worked at La Bernardin.
You should have worked at La Bernardin. Because La Bernardin is also more lighter.
Yeah.
At that time it was very simplistic. They only had 2 meat options. And what else was it? Yeah, I felt like I liked the complexity that Danielle was bringing me. Yeah. Like that I was seeing from Danielle when I was there. It's
definitely complex, for sure.
When it comes to like the garnishes.
And the ingredients were a little exotic. Yeah. And it was,
So I feel like I was more wowed there. So, and it was funny because I was there and Eddie was just like, doing Eddie.
Hair flipping and yelling.
And then he was like, yeah, he just showed me everything. And then they also, it was just very casual. Like it wasn't.
You felt like at home.
Yeah. Like I felt like they already knew me a little bit.
That's how I felt when I was there.
Me too.
I think because maybe they're also so used to stages coming in.
Yeah.
They're just like, let us show you what we have and like the pretty side of everything. Because you only saw the pretty side while you're staging.
Yeah, my stage was...
Well, most stages are like this. It's not
Nicole,
just one
you got
place.
like 12 grand your first stage. Like you were not supposed to get that.
I staged 3 days at the French Laundry. And look what happened with that. You know what I'm saying?
No, what happened? Please tell us. What happened when you staged 3 days? Oh, no, you don't want to tell us?
No, I'm just saying, like, it's... Just because you stage for 3 days doesn't mean you get the entire picture of what happens.
Yeah, no, right. I know. That's what I'm saying.
And your vision.
It's true.
You only...
Just because my stage I made $2,000 in one night...
Doesn't mean it's gonna happen.
It never happened again.
I was so jealous of this bitch. I was like,
I'll buy you coffee.
Yeah. I was like, I never get any money when I do these events.
Yeah. It's a hit or miss with the events.
That same client bought Dahlia
a Prada bag.
And gave her
like a matching wallet, and like they're like $7 grand total. And like I will never get rid of it. I use it as my weed bag. I was just telling Thomas. I really shouldn't say that, but I do. It's
probably not.
Because who's gonna check the Prada bag? You know what I mean?
They also gave me like 3. They also gave me like 3 bottles of wine that are each
like
over
$1,200,
and I'm like, what am I gonna do with this wine? Not the first night. I went there
again
2 other times.
Okay,
but anyways, okay, so great.
Stages, and I have always said that stages only show you the pretty side of things, and like just the good vibes, which they should. Because, like, you're not supposed to scare people away when they walk in.
Right.
Absolutely not. But, yeah, I mean, you do need to give them a fair warning of the work and the intensity of the restaurant itself. I think for me that it wasn't like I was, what do you call it? I wasn't... Naive to it. It's more like when I came in, like when I decided to choose Danielle and I started my first day... What was more shocking was the station they put me on.
What
you
station?
were on a station?
Oh, yeah.
What did they put you on?
You weren't just, like, standing by the schedule and just watching everyone?
No, I mean, like,
Once she
for
started,
the stage.
For
the stage, I was on Sous.
Oh, so when you got the job, what was your position?
Mean entremet.
What the?
Whoa.
That is, like, by the way, if no one knows, like, the totem pole in that place, she just skipped 15 positions.
Exactly. I was terrified.
Yeah. Did you know walking in?
No.
They didn't email you saying, like,
no.
BT dubs, bitch?
No, JFK goes, your station's over there. And I'm looking over at Garmache. I'm like, are you sure?
So were people giving you a salty vibe? Because, like, skipping a lot of things is, like, skipping all of that.
No, because at that restaurant, I mean, which you guys are more aware of, is like there's people that skip.
There are people
There
who
are,
skip.
yeah,
and
but
you did come from a really good place with a great recommendation.
Exactly, and that's what
okay.
I speak about. Like the thing I just spoke about with having luck.
Yeah.
Is like David really put a good word in.
Yeah, definitely.
Because if
obviously,
if they're putting
because
me,
I know people that were like sous chefs in good restaurants, and they come in and they still have to do
start
garde
garde.
So it's just crazy that like you just
skipped you skipped garde, you skipped
fish, entremet,
you skipped soup,
roti,
you skipped all of it.
Canapé, you skipped pasta, you skipped prep cook. Sometimes you start as prep even if you have experience. And I hate those people that have experience and are sitting there as prep cook like, fuck this shit. And I'm like, no, you got to learn how to do that first.
You have to know how they
You
want
have
it.
to know how to do that before you even come up there. Like, sorry.
You skipped soup, you spit hot
Yeah,
abs,
you probably didn't sleep
fish.
for weeks.
oh my God, I didn't sleep. And I was going home like crying, like I need to be better. Like, why am I not better? Why am I not better? I had many discussions with Harlan on the phone. Like, I remember going home and like writing a list and like going over it over and over again.
I had no idea
How do
you
I be
started on
better?
meat entremet.
How do I be better? How do I do this? How do I figure this shit out?
Yeah, but you're also the only person I know that does that. Because other people just mope around. And they're just like, I fucking suck.
Or they
You
go
know what
out
I
and
mean?
get
was
fucking
coming-
blackout
And
drunk.
Kristen's like, I need to do good. I wrote a good list. I looked in the mirror
Yeah, but
and I
you
said,
and I
I'm
would
boss
do that.
bitch.
You and I do that.
To each other. She's
Yeah.
doing it to herself. She's writing the list like, I'm boss bitch. Look at me. Like, I could do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but before you were there, I was doing it too.
So you have confidence.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
No, I want to.
well.
No.
Nicole says yes. You
No,
say
no. She doesn't. She seems like the. Okay, so anybody listening. Kristen looks like she has all the confidence in the world. Truly,
Yeah.
the way she works, her work ethic, everything. But she doesn't have confidence.
It's
because you're always beating yourself up because you're like, I could be better.
nothing that I do is ever good enough for myself.
Okay.
So that's why
You're a Jeff
I'm
Bezos.
always. That's why I'm always. I don't know who that is.
It's fine, Dahlia.
You know who Jeff Bezos is.
We'll talk about that later. He's the guy that just went to space.
No, he's not, you guys.
Okay, never mind. Anyways, we're done.
I think he did, but
Yeah, but he's not known for that. He's
he owns
Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't even like Amazon.
What?
What?
She's
I don't
French.
order shit.
No, she doesn't. She only shops in person.
No,
I don't like
used
to
be like that.
I don't like
used
to
be
buy
like that.
something unless I touch it with my
Kristen
hands.
she wears.
Good.
Listen to
That's
this.
good, guys. That is why businesses are ran because of people like Kristen.
She knows the type of shoe she wears.
Do you wear the same shoe all the time?
Work shoe, yes. Her work clogs, the
Which
same
ones do you
shoe.
wear?
The dance goes.
Dance goes.
I trip on them, and I've worn them for 6 years.
She is such a psycho that even though she knows the brand and she knows the size, she still needs to go in person to try them on.
All right, so skip the confidence part, I guess. It's like if you knew what you wanted, you go get it.
Yeah, it's more just like I don't know if I want to change my mind, if I don't like the way it looks, or I
But
don't
you've
know.
worn the same ones for like 15 years.
Not 15.
Think
more
about
like
it.
more like 8.
You just
That's
get
closer
new ones.
to 15.
So, anyways, okay, we're done talking about this.
Anyway, moving forward.
So
from
you
the
worked
shoe shopping.
You worked at Danielle. You obviously did a good job because of where you are now.
No, but okay, so you went to Danielle. Where was the next place you went to? Because Nicole knows your resume. I don't.
Yeah, I could write the
So-
resume.
So after a year and a half at Danielle, I told JFK I wanted to go to the French Laundry because I wanted to see the West Coast.
Okay.
What about, Cafe Boloud?
No, Cafe Boloud was after.
Okay, sorry.
So you don't know my
I
resume?
don't. I thought I knew.
Wait, I knew she ended up there. So why are you like trying to skip real
No, because
quick?
I thought she did it opposite. But anyways, keep going.
No, so I have to leave New York in order to come back because that's how I work, you know?
Yeah.
Like I keep going back to
She keeps
something.
coming back to New York, guys, by the way. This is like her 5th time. So you went to the French Laundry.
Yes.
You staged there for 3 days because you said that before.
Yes.
You liked the stage.
I did.
And then you said yes?
Yes. So
you just like picked up all your stuff in New York and just went to California?
Exactly. I actually brought it.
Exactly. Like no big
Just
deal.
that was it.
Exactly.
That's exactly it. So I wanted to try something different because I really loved New York, but I felt like I just wanted to try another 3 Michelin star restaurant. Just honestly.
Yeah.
Because I know that, exactly. And I knew that I knew how Danielle worked, and I loved my experience there, but I wanted to see
another great chef.
Exactly. So I did that, and JFK was sweet enough to make a nice phone call for me. And
these phone calls
happen a lot.
Yeah.
As long as you work really, really hard, they happen a lot. And so yeah, I did three days there, so I flew there.
Yeah.
As like a little mini vacation. 3 days I worked.
And if no one knows where the French Laundry is, it's an expensive area.
Napa is very
Napa
expensive.
Valley, yeah.
So like you went for 3 days by yourself.
Well, I was with an ex, but that's another story.
All right. We don't need to know about that.
we don't need to go into that.
You're married now. It doesn't matter. He doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So you two went, and then did you enjoy Napa, or you were just there just to see
I
what
loved
the French
it.
Laundry was?
No. The thing is
Napa's beautiful.
Napa is beautiful, and first and foremost priority, yes, the career takes the lead.
Yeah.
But Napa was great. It was very nice. It's not like I don't ever go to a place like, oh man, this restaurant's nice. I really want to like work here. Or I really want to be in this area though because the state is beautiful or whatever. Yeah. For me, it's like the job first, and hopefully the environment around it is fantastic. That's how I work. Very much career driven.
Yeah.
On this. So anyway, I did my 3 days. I liked it. I said yes. I went back home, finished my job. I packed up a few things in Maryland because that's where I'm from. And then I was going to go with the ex, but then he decided not to at the 2 weeks before I was leaving. And then I went cross country.
Alone.
And how was it?
It was great.
Yeah. What position did you start out there?
Commis, because everyone starts out as a commis there.
Okay.
Which I was 100% okay with and understood the process.
Okay. So you weren't the salty one?
No. Not at all.
Then what was the position after that?
Well, actually, there was no position after that because by the time I left, I was not able to move up. Because after 6 months, I decided that I didn't want to be there anymore.
Was it there or Napa that you didn't want to be at?
It was the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
So, to me, I remember you talking about how many artichokes you had to clean while you were there.
Oh, a lot.
I remember...
I hate artichokes. You know that's my least favorite thing to clean.
I don't mind
but I
cleaning
love it
them.
now.
I don't mind artichokes at all.
Yeah, because you probably found a therapeutic way of doing it.
Well, it's more about like the fact that it takes a lot of skill to do it. So I like the idea of when you're not good at something, being able to become very good at something. Mm-hmm. That requires a lot of skill.
So you left because you were just like, this isn't the restaurant for me. Like,
yeah.
I don't see myself growing here. I gotta go.
Yeah, the thing is like what people, maybe other people don't realize or they do, is like every restaurant has its own type of culture. And I think that for me, that particular restaurant wasn't the type of culture that I was used to. Plus the fact that it was West Coast, mm-hmm. and I'm a very East Coast kind of girl. So my aggressive, my aggressive personality was like not fitting in very well to this type of environment.
Yeah, and I remember you telling me that you felt like everyone was drinking the Kool-Aid, but you weren't.
I was not drinking any type of Kool-Aid when I was there. And and people knew it, and I was shunned because of it. Because if you don't...
Is it the Thomas Keller Kool-Aid, or is it the Kool-Aid of the West Coast?
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
A little bit of both. I think that... I mean, unfortunately, this is the case, and I have to tell myself, even in my 30s, I have to tell myself that, like, politics are a part of the game.
Yeah.
Politics are a part of the game, so you have to be aware of them, and sometimes you have to
play.
play.
President or not believe the president.
Yeah.
You just have to go with the rules. And
exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't like politics, even though I do agree with you. Like, I really like when I go to a place and it's super political. I'm like, fuck.
So you had to.
I'm a liberal.
You stayed for 6 months, and what was the deciding factor of this isn't for me? Like, what was that moment where you realized I
gotta find something else?
Because there's a huge thing in New York. Like, you're either Danielle or you're Thomas Keller. Like, there's a two.
Yeah.
They're so different. Or you're John George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I knew I was a Danielle from after 3 months of being there.
Yeah.
And I just kept telling myself, it'll get better. I just need to acclimate myself better. Mm-hmm. So I tried it for 6 months. And then at 6 months, I told the chef, I said, I can't. It's not for me. I need to leave. No
Were you
offense
upset
to anything.
leaving or no?
No.
You were like,
I just can't do it. Like, I'm very passionate about what I do. And if you don't love it, if you don't love going to work every day.
Yeah.
There was a lot of friends I made when I was in Napa, because Napa's a very small town. So there's only like 4 bars. So if you've been to all 4 of them, again, you're going to see the same person.
Yeah.
So I made a few friends, and I remember one of my friends saying to me, and this was one of those things that it stuck with me. He looked at me and he said, something's not right with you. Like, you look very sad. And like, he's like, I've never seen you like this, and I've been around you for 6 months.
Yeah.
And when he said that to me, I was like something's not right.
Right.
I love everything that I learned there. I have many things that I keep inside of me from there. There's a lot of things that you don't realize that you learn from a restaurant till later on. Yeah. There's a lot of tics that I have because of that restaurant.
Okay.
Like, someone puts something on a cutting board, I lose it.
Yeah.
It's from that restaurant.
I know there's when someone tells me that they don't like things on their cutting board, it's usually a Thomas Keller chef that has worked at, like,
you don't put anything. You don't even put your knife on the cutting board.
Yeah, like,
you don't
really
rest, you don't rest it on the cutting board. You keep it above, clean,
or next to.
You spray the towel, not the surface.
Yeah.
These are things that, like, will never be removed from my brain.
I believe in the no cutting board thing. Nothing should be on the cutting board.
I think the knife can be on the cutting board.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Right? But, like, nothing else. Like, you shouldn't put your pots, you shouldn't put your plates,
hotel pans.
No, I agree with that.
Or cell phones.
Oh my God.
Ew. No, but you know people that do it. There's people that put their cell phones on their cutting board, and you're just sitting there cringing because, like, you go to the bathroom with that cell phone. You know what I mean? You know it's true. What else are you doing when you're pooping? You're looking at your phone. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
anyways, back to the story.
Going back. So
left.
Came back to New York?
Yes, because I had a very nice moment with JFK in California.
Oh.
So while I was working at the French Laundry, he had
an event.
He had an event at Meadowood, yes.
Okay.
But he ate dinner at the French Laundry when I was working there as a commis. He ate there with Drew. Do you remember Drew?
I remember Drew.
Yeah.
It was before you.
Okay.
Was he really?
Yeah. Drew left when I had just started.
Old.
Drew's last day was like a week or 2 after I started.
Literally, the turnover is like 100 people a year. Like,
True.
So, like, you're not that old.
So anyway, Drew and JFK went there to eat. I spoke with them, and then because I was really like turning.
He could see it probably. He could probably see unhappiness.
And I was turning inside, like I was questioning myself. I was like, is it me that's the problem? Is it them? I don't know. So I wanted advice from someone that I could trust.
Yeah.
And so I texted JFK and I said, "Are you still in town?"
And for anyone that's like not understanding who JFK is, he's the one that called to get her this job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was the executive chef of Restaurant Danielle. He's my mentor, all 3 of our mentors for a very long time.
He was father.
He's our dad.
Yeah. He's my French
Papa.
dad.
Yeah.
He's Papa.
Yeah.
For sure. And he, so I messaged him. I said, "Are you still in town? I kind of wanted to talk." And he said, yeah, sure, I have time. So I drive to Meadowood to speak with him. And I just talked to him. Like, I don't remember how everything in the conversation, but I just remember just being able to tell him how I feel. And I said, he said, well, you try as much as you can. And then after that, you move on. and that's it. So I did this, and I knew this before, but it's like having that reassurance was necessary for me. Mm-hmm. So after I felt like there was no more trying, I put my notice in. I gave them plenty of time, and that's why it came out to 8 months.
Yeah.
And then I moved all my stuff back
to New York.
Well, I moved it to DC, and then they offered me some kind of position. They wanted me to be in DC. They always try to push DC. Danielle did.
Yeah,
they always try
I
to push
understand.
DC because I'm from there, but they don't realize, and they still sometimes don't. I never want to go back there.
Yeah, which none of us do.
I feel like if you like DC, you don't really leave.
Yes.
Because like DC is for people that really love DC, and like it's
yeah.
a beautiful
great.
city. Like
I could see
I like visiting, but I can't see myself living in DC.
I could see myself going back, but not for the DBGB. Like that's the restaurant Danielle has there. So like I could go back, but like not for that restaurant.
No.
And I don't know if it's for either. I'm not ready to leave Brooklyn. I can't go back.
So you said goodbye to DC again.
Yeah. And then and I said maybe it'd be a good idea for me to move forward. And I really loved Danielle, but I was afraid of tarnishing my vision of what Danielle was. So I was like, well, maybe I'll just try Cafe. Because Cafe is a 1-star.
Cafe Boloud.
And that's in Manhattan. That's like 10 blocks away from Danielle.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not far.
11 if you're counting.
Yeah. And so I thought, and like I could have a sous chef experience there.
Do they offer you Sous?
Not in the beginning.
No.
Like
so you went to go work there.
And then I became Sous after.
Okay. Who was the chef with you when you were Sous?
Aaron Bluedorn.
I liked him.
Yeah, he's fun.
Yeah.
He's fun.
Now he owns his own restaurant, right?
Yeah, he's in Texas.
Yes.
I want to go visit him. Mm-hmm. But, okay, so you went to Cafe Boloud. You were there.
Became Sous. So that was your first managerial position ever.
Yes. First sous chef position.
How was that? Did you like?
It was the first time I really noticed that my sexuality matters.
Mm-hmm. Your gender?
Yes. Sorry, gender.
No,
it just means you're straight.
Okay, so gender.
Yeah, I feel like sexuality is like you like boys or you like girls or both. Why not?
No, I'm sorry.
Gender meaning like you realized that you being a woman mattered and it was different.
100%. You need to manage.
That's
when I realized that like.
That was the first time you realized.
No, I mean like, it's harder.
Yes.
When you're in a management position.
As a manager,
being a female.
We agree.
Yeah,
for sure,
100%.
And what sucks about that is that men don't know.
No, they have no clue.
They don't get it.
Understand it.
They have no idea because they don't have to do it.
We see you as an equal. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Well, I mean, even if they do, they don't know
the cooks
that
don't.
Other people don't.
No, I don't see that even
see
necessarily.
it.
Like, I know people that say, like, of course I'll respect a woman that's in a managerial position. But then when I hear them complaining about their manager that's a female, I'm like, you're literally doing what you just said you don't do.
Right. I mean, what about, like, the one girl that worked under me for a little while?
Yeah.
Where she's like, well,
I really want to work for a female chef.
I want to work for a female chef. I'm like,
you don't even listen to
You don't even listen to me. I'm your sous chef and you don't respect me, but you respect the male chef. So, are you sure?
You look like her ex-girlfriend.
Ew.
No, it's true. When I met her girlfriend, I was like, whoa, this is Nicole's twin. But anyway, that wasn't the point. Also, like, don't have crushes on
your boss.
On your boss. There you go. But yes.
Oh, okay.
It was like a weird situation. But anyways, so we're talking about
moving forward.
So you were at Cafe.
Yeah, it was your first time.
You stayed there for how long?
2.5 years.
And then you realized
how long were you Sous? A year and a half?
I was a cook for too long.
Oh, okay.
And by the time they made me a sous chef, I was like, well,
You're
I don't
ready
want
to
to be
go.
here anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like that happens all the time.
It happens
a lot.
Yeah.
So you were there, and then what happened after Cafe?
So, I'm not going to make this, I'm going to still move it forward, but just so you know, while I was at the French Laundry, I had these very large desires to go back to Europe because I went to Europe.
Of course.
Yeah.
While I was
in
working,
Italy.
Yeah. So I did my internship in Italy. And that experience is what...
At which restaurant?
Torre del Saracino. So this...
In Ravello?
No, it was in Vico e Quince.
Okay.
Ravello was where you were.
No, I was in Positano.
No, you were in Positano. You were working at
Le Cernus.
Le Cernus.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that we didn't talk about, but it doesn't matter. We don't need to. That's what working at that restaurant is what wanted me to do fine dining forever.
Okay.
Because this was before Danielle and before Citronelle, and I was like, Casey Jones was a good experience,
but it wasn't fine dining.
Wasn't Michelin. It was
Yeah.
trying to be
So
fine
you were
dining.
like,
It was fine dining
wanna
for
go
Southern
to, like, the
Maryland.
best
Exactly.
Of the best.
Best of the best. And I liked the fact that the restaurant that I went to was a destination spot. So there was nothing around. So you drive to this location for this restaurant, which was really nice. So I did only 10 weeks there, and that was 100% life-changing. And so because of that, a couple years after, I was like, I'm getting that itch.
Yeah.
I
You
was
need something.
getting that itch to scratch,
Yeah.
like to go back. And because with my last name, I always had the desire to go to France. Bourgeois.
Christin Bourgoise. Which if nobody knows, our listeners, bourgeois means like fancy. Means
It's upper middle class.
upper middle class in France.
Yeah,
In French.
Yeah. It's the aristocrats.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
my god, I feel like everyone in Maryland does not know how to say your last name.
but yeah, I mean, a lot of people. It's not just in
They
Maryland.
say, no, I know, but I just mean like growing up, you were probably like having to say it constantly.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, I feel like that happens a lot with people, even with names that are simple.
Yeah, that's true.
I get my name
Unfortunately.
messed up like every day.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep us on track here. So we're going
Focus.
focus.
Got it.
So we're
So-
leaving Cafe Boloud,
Yes.
right?
So-
like you realize you need a change. You are done. You got the position you wanted. You held it for a certain period of time, and you're ready for what's next. So what's
Yes.
next?
So what's next was for me to work on trying to get back to Europe.
Right.
And the thing is as most people are not aware of, is that as a U.S. citizen, we have the same problems as people coming here. So that means you have to have a visa. And a lot of places don't do visas because it costs money to do them. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to pay for somebody they don't know to work at their restaurant.
Right.
And then pay that visa too, because some
Exactly.
restaurants pay the visa.
Right. So what I did was what a lot of people do in my industry, and that is I'm putting my hands up in quotations, I worked as a stagiaire. So I
Works for free.
I worked for free for fun.
Where?
I worked at a place called Maison Rostang. It's a 2 Michelin star in Paris. And the reason why I knew about this guy is because I kept in contact with the chef I had at Citronelle. He's opening up his own place in DC, and we made a deal. He said, I'll hook you up in Paris, and you help me open my restaurant in DC. And I said,
Deal.
deal.
Done.
So, as a
You
U.S.
said deal for no money too.
Well, the thing is
I'm
like,
just saying, most people say deal with money. Like,
no, no, because the thing is
You wanted the
they
experience.
yeah, but they do a lot of things so that you are compensated. Like they gave me housing
oh, okay.
next to the Louvre,
Wow.
That's nice.
which is
That's
like,
amazing.
So I had a closet, but most people have closets when you're in
In
living
Paris.
in
Paying,
Paris.
when you're paying for it.
Yeah, exactly. So I had a closet, but it was a free one, and I got to eat at all the sister restaurants for free.
So this is your third Michelin star restaurant that you're working at.
Fourth. Well, no, third.
No, Cafe.
Third, technically.
Cafe had
No,
a star.
Yeah.
Yeah, fourth.
So it would be, because Citronelle wasn't technically has stars. So you had Danielle, French Laundry, Cafe.
Michelle was saying.
And then, if you think about the internship.
Oh yeah, the internship too.
So yeah.
So fifth.
So this was like, what was different about this one compared to all the other
What,
ones?
in Paris?
Yeah, because I know you're in in a French kitchen, it's completely different than other kitchens. Even if you're in a French kitchen in America, it's different.
Well, that's why I wanted to go, because I knew it would be different. And and as an American chef, where your
and a woman,
your fundamentals are based on French techniques.
Yeah.
So for me, it makes more sense that we know more about what they're doing over there. So anyway, yeah, I went there because the chef that I worked for, he knew a corporate chef, and the corporate chef of Rostang, they have 6 other restaurants.
Are any of them other Michelin star restaurants?
No, all of them were
like bistros
or fine dining, but not
okay.
Michelin. But the flagship was the one I worked at. So it's a very small restaurant. It's in a small neighborhood. It wasn't like, in the middle of the city. It was still in Paris, but it was more like a local person kind of Michelin star restaurant. And they only do 50 for lunch and 60 for dinner.
Wow.
Maximum.
Small.
But you said it's a small kitchen.
Yeah, 7 people total in the kitchen.
That's crazy.
So obviously it was very different for me coming from a place like Danielle where you're doing cooks. 70 cooks.
Yeah.
For 180.
Yeah.
200.
We were doing 300 covers at Danielle
back
in the day.
But now it's like 180, 200.
Yeah. Now it is. But back then, the most I ever did was 310 in one night.
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
That is
a crazy night.
That was a horrifying day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were actually okay on that day, but I think leading up to it, we were just like, ah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so obviously being in the middle of a local kind of restaurant, nobody really spoke English. But the chef didn't either. But the chef put me with someone that did speak English.
And you married him.
And I married him 5 years later.
That's awesome. That's a beautiful love story.
Is that beautiful?
Yeah, it was definitely a story that I didn't think would happen in my life.
Is his English really good? Or
it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the, like Nicole is well aware of, but he loves English movies. Like half of his movies are English. So he knows a lot of the slang and stuff already.
Yeah, and like the jokes that Americans have because we're weirdos and have weird jokes.
Exactly.
So he was like, oh, okay.
So he already had them. Now, because he's not speaking English every day, he had to like kind of brush up on it when I arrived. But he was reading books in English to keep his English. His English is also slightly different because he learned it in Australia.
Okay.
But his mother is an English teacher, so I mean, whatever questions I'm sure he had, he would ask her or anything like this,
So did you guys fall in love instantly, or you're just like,
no,
or you were like, I'm here to work, I'm not here to fall in love, like.
I was just so happy I was in France.
Yeah.
Like the first 3 weeks, I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
You're in France.
I was so happy. The first day, I did an air, so wild rabbit.
Nice.
I broke down a wild rabbit from the fur, taking off the fur, to everything after, because they did the air à la royale for the menu. So that was my first day, and after that, every day was like doing projects that you don't do in the U.S. because you don't have the same product.
No, their products are nice.
Yeah, and some of that stuff we can't get here just because of importing and the rules and the regulations we have. So it's normal.
Wow.
So you spent how long there?
2 months.
2 months. So you spent 2 months there, and then you came back.
Mm-hmm.
And where did you go after?
So the restaurant I was supposed to open with David was not ready yet.
Okay.
So I was kind of in a predicament where he wasn't able to pay me yet. So I said, okay, well, I got to find a restaurant
that can pay me.
And that's Michelin starred, so I don't, lose my shit. And so I went to Fiola. Fiola was a 1 Michelin star Italian restaurant. I did a tasting. It was my first tasting I've ever done.
In DC.
It's in DC.
DC. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I did that. And I liked it. It was, it's very different. Working in DC than New York is still different.
It's
different vibe.
Yeah.
Different vibe for sure. But I did a lot of
so you just keep going to Michelin.
Yeah, all she cares about is Michelin. There's nothing else in her life.
Well, the thing is like, you know, people, especially nowadays, because people like to give shit for people that like, oh yeah, Michelin, Michelin doesn't mean that you're not a good restaurant, blah, blah, blah. Like whether you have it or not. But what I like about it is that it gives you a scale of excellence. So you know that if you want 1 star or 2 star or 3 star, depending on what you want, you need this amount of excellence, and you need like these need to be freshly made every day. This needs to be done every other day.
Right.
This needs to be clean. This can only be done à la minute. So at the moment of when the order comes in, you can't sandbag things, you know? So this is what I love about being Michelin, is that there's a guideline on what is right and what is wrong. And that's what pisses me off about people that say shitty things about Michelin. It's like, it's not about like the star and I gotta have a star in front. It's about what quality, that star represents.
Yeah.
Is an expectation of what the food needs to be.
Yeah.
And that's what I love.
Okay, so you were there at Fiola. You stayed for how long?
I think it took about 6 to 8 months before the other restaurant was able for me to open.
Did you wish that you could have stayed in France a little bit longer?
Well, technically I couldn't, because you're only allowed to be there 90 days because it was vacation. It wasn't a work thing.
Yeah.
So as a U.S. citizen, you can only stay 90 days. I could have gone home and come back if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But with all the things happening in my life, I had to help with the opening of the restaurant. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So you did that. Great. It was fun.
That.
You realized quickly that you didn't want to be in DC, even though you had been there and you were ready to leave. And the whole love story, we don't need to talk about that, even though I know all about it.
Yes.
So after that, what happened? I mean, I want to make sure that the listeners are still like interested, because there's so much to you that.
I know, I'm sure they don't give a shit, but you know.
No, but it's fascinating. It's fascinating that to you, there's so many different like seasons in your life.
Some people only work at like 1 or 2 Michelin star restaurants. They say that's
that's
enough.
it.
Like that's cool. Even the people that are managers at the Michelin star restaurant that we worked at, they only worked at those restaurants.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
As you know.
So, no, like for me, it's important to keep that consistency of staying in that.
And change in seeing what others are doing.
Yeah, because I've worked in 2 3 stars, 2 2 stars, and 2 1 stars.
Yeah.
So it's like every single restaurant does everything differently depending on where you are. So it's more about, it's not like, oh, every 1 Michelin, 2 Michelin, 3 Michelin is the same. It's about the one thing that they have in common is that they're all trying to keep that same level of integrity to the food. That's the only thing in common. Everything else is can go 100,000 different ways.
So you said you worked for David, and I know the name of the restaurant. It's
Unconventional Diner.
The Unconventional Diner.
That's the name of the new restaurant that you were helping him open up.
Yes. Which I only did for 6 months, and that's all I could do.
And then what happened after?
So I
because I'm sure you were ready to leave the country again.
Oh yeah. So because I met the love of my life in Paris, at the restaurant, the 2 Michelin star, we were trying to figure out a solution for us when it came to how are we going to live our lives, because we're both chefs. And we both want to work Michelin restaurants.
And you're both citizens of 2 different countries.
Exactly.
Yeah. So any more complication to it?
I know, right?
Add to Kristen's love story.
For me, I feel like the more complicated my life can get, the more
intrigued you are.
Exactly. I feel like that's definitely a part of my MO.
Yeah, you definitely don't live boring.
Yeah. So we talked a lot, because him and I were both very concerned about making sure that we're both happy in where we are. So I didn't want to stay in the U.S. because I felt like if he comes here, with it being such a new relationship, that
you have the upper hand.
I have the upper hand.
Yeah.
And it's the same vice versa. If I go to France, he has the upper hand, and I would be not in a good position. So we were like, okay, so we have to choose a different country. So it ended up being London.
Which I'm dying to go to.
London's great. London has a lot of great food.
It's a lot of great food. You can walk everywhere.
Yeah. And you can take the bus everywhere because the
Yeah.
bus is much better than the metro. The tube. Excuse me.
The tube or subways here in New
Yeah.
York City.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we made the decision, and it also depended upon who was going to take me, because for Francois, he can go wherever in Europe. This is not a problem. For me, is the problem because I need a visa no matter where I go. And yeah, so I had to put my resume everywhere. We took a 1-week trip, and we
Did you get anyone to make phone calls?
actually, no one made phone calls, but I made a phone call because
Finally, Kristen
Finally,
made the
she
phone
can
call.
make her own
She
phone
made her
call.
own phone call.
because when I was working at Cafe Boloud, I asked Kareem, who was the GM.
We know Kareem very
yeah,
well.
He's the
obviously.
reason why we have this name.
Right.
for our
It is
podcast.
actually the reason we call ourselves Quiche My Ass is
It's
because
of
her.
him?
I told him to quiche my ass, and he thought it was funny.
and it
wasn't
just
funny.
never stopped. It was
Yeah.
just always Quiche My Ass.
still
from
says
us.
Oh, that's so cute. I didn't know that. That's so cute. I love him. I do. And I remember the first.
He loves
I remember
us.
my
We
first
love him.
impression of him. I met him at Boloud.
Was he eating cheese?
No, he was taking care of my table, who was my mother and my sister. And the way he took care of us, I was like, I wish this guy would be like, if whatever restaurant I
Like
open up,
your
I
GM.
want this guy.
Yeah, he is good.
He's great.
Yeah, he knows how to tend to a table.
Yeah.
Yeah. And run a restaurant now. He's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he,
Shout out Kareem.
yeah, shout out for
Quiche My Ass, Kareem.
Quiche my ass. Salmon dildo.
Smoked salmon dildo.
Smoked salmon dildo. He knows what that means. Anyway.
I'm sure he does. If you're screaming that out right now, yeah, for sure. It's got to be an inside
at work,
joke.
we could scream it on Quiche my ass.
No, we'd love to have Kareem on here to tell the story of the smoked salmon dildo, but
Yeah, he'll come on.
his
You'll hear it
English
soon.
his English was difficult, and he didn't understand that the word dill and the word dough were two
Together.
different things. So he was like, this
No,
is
and
a-
they told him that they were messing up with his French and English. They were like, hey, just letting you know, like, we're having smoked salmon dildo on the menu. And he told his tables that.
It's hilarious.
Because
We're
he
gonna have
didn't
him
know.
tell
Yeah,
the
we'll
story
know.
one time.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Anyways, back
Anyway.
to where we're going.
So you made a call for him. You called him.
Well, the thing is, no, it's because when I was working at Cafe, I did a vacation 4 days in London because I'd never been. And Kareem, I was speaking with him, and he said, "Oh, I used to work at Ducasse."
Which
and
I
was,
didn't know.
and I was like, "Oh, you did?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, I was thinking of staging at one place while I'm there for 4 days because I was by myself, and I had a whole list of all these places to eat. But I was like, well, while I'm in Europe, I want to stage at one place for work, just for fun."
Right.
And I thought it was funny that everyone was like, "Oh, you're crazy! You know, on your vacation, you want to work."
I think
like,
so.
You are crazy.
You are
but-
crazy.
But for me, it's not really working. You're like hanging out, and they give you projects to do, but
you're just
you're
you're not
chilling.
held
You don't have
accountable. You're-
responsibility.
This is where the passion comes in. For me, no. I'm sitting at a fucking coffee shop. I'm going to the coolest bar. Like,
Yeah, which I did.
Yeah.
No, me and you are just different.
Yeah.
I still respect you. Don't worry.
I'm not worried, but thank you.
So
So yeah,
you staged there while you were at Cafe?
yeah,
Okay.
because Kareem set up
So
the stage
wasn't
for
your
me.
first time in this restaurant, which we're going to push it forward, is where you ended up being
Exactly.
in London with the love of your life.
Yes.
As
Well, he wasn't at that restaurant. He did another
Oh,
restaurant.
I thought you guys were at the
No,
same
no,
restaurant.
He went to
Core.
Core by Claire Smith.
Wow, and you were at
Alain Ducasse at the Dorchester.
that's insane.
Yeah. And I was, and this for me was very lucky because they don't do sponsors. They don't do
for the visas
at the hotel, the Dorchester hotel.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Hotels usually don't.
They don't do it.
Yeah.
And they made an exception for me.
Queen.
Wow.
That's
I don't know.
I
don't know why they made an exception for me, but they did, and I'm very happy they did because
maybe there was secret phone calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So, how did your husband now like the Claire Smith restaurant? Even though we'll love him on the podcast to come on and have an interview there, but did he love it?
No,
okay.
He didn't love it very much.
He didn't love it.
Okay.
It was a similar experience to mine.
And French Laundry. Did you like being in London in your restaurant?
I did. There was a lot of really hard moments.
Yeah.
But I respect the time that I did there. Yeah. I loved it.
You also, which I don't think we're going to totally go into it, you got stuck in London, right? Because of the pandemic?
It's not like, well,
not
I mean,
stuck,
I don't really, I was still on visa there.
During the pandemic, you were just like, oh, wait, like COVID-19's happening. We're stuck here in Manhattan, New York, Brooklyn. And
yeah, COVID hit while you were in London.
You were
there.
Oh,
yeah, for sure.
And it was scary all around.
Oh, yeah.
So were you like, oh, my gosh, am I able to do it? Were you ever thinking that you had to go back to America because of it? Because they were closing borders? Or
no.
You're like, no, I'm staying here. I don't care.
Kiss his face.
I'm looking at food.
No, he's looking. Don't worry about him. Okay, so you were in London. Francois obviously he left to go work at the greenhouse after,
exactly,
right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you stayed at the Dorchester.
Yep.
Your time was up, and now you guys are both back here in New York.
Yep.
How?
So it's like a full.
Who convinced you to come back to New York?
JFK.
Jean-Francois. He brought her back.
It's always this one.
So you're at Le Pavillon.
He's good at it.
He's so good at it. You're at Le Pavillon, which was the biggest restaurant opening of 2021.
Yeah.
Everybody was closing their restaurants while Danielle still found a way to open his.
Yeah.
And Francois, even though it took him quite a while to get here because of his visa, he's at Restaurant Danielle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is crazy. So Dahlia's getting Munchbox ready, which I don't know if you've listened enough to know, which probably it's been a while. But Munchbox is the moment where
segment.
Sorry, I'm watching her. It's a segment where we just taste something. Where we take a little break and we taste something and then we talk about it and we rate it. So one thing with you and Francois that I know you love, cheese.
Okay.
So I told Dahlia to buy cheese and...
Yeah, but you should have taken it out before so it would temper.
I am. We're not doing it right away.
Okay, good.
And Nicole's so bad at this. Like, you haven't done 30 episodes already. This is Munchbox. This is what we rate it. We never rate it, by the way. Like, we never give it a 5 or a 4 or whatever. Like, so I actually want to talk about what you're doing now.
Okay.
And then what else? What are you going to do afterwards? Because, like...
Well, I want to talk about, what you're doing now, but I want to, bring it full circle and talk that you are one of the most devoted chefs, and I also want to talk about during COVID, everybody got burned out or decided they don't want to go back to being a chef, and I want to talk, with you. Did you experience being burned out?
Absolutely not. because they closed the restaurant, but everyone was still getting paid.
You still got paid.
The first time ever.
Which is amazing.
Well, not for Europe.
Right.
Obviously. But no, I mean, I was actually starting to get a little bit more burned out right before the pandemic because of the workload that I had. But that's another point.
I heard London kitchens
are rough.
Different.
They're even worse than France.
I mean, the schedule that you work.
So I worked 7 a.m. I would show up at 6:45 and change, and I would leave at 1 a.m.
Every day, 5 days a week.
5 days a week, and I had maybe a break to eat a fruit cup.
What is a fruit cup? Like a bunch of different fruits in a cup?
Well, it was me just making a joke because I
There's different kind of fruit cups.
No. It was more just like because we have a cafeteria inside of the Dorchester, but it's like they had like little fruit things that they would set out for people, and I would grab all of the fruit that I could and
just eat
this as I'm running. But you had a meal you could eat for sure.
But you didn't have time to eat a meal.
For me, I was running a lot.
So all the
a lot
places,
of responsibility.
All the places like New York, London, California, Italy, France, the most number of hours you were working was
in London.
Was in London.
For sure.
For sure. No questions asked.
Which one
Italy is a close second.
Yeah.
Italy is a close second, and then France after. But for sure, London was the worst. Because London, even when I wasn't working, I was still working because I was in charge of all the ordering. So on my days off, I would be calling providers to make sure we had the porcini coming in. There was so many things just to make sure that we had everything that we needed. The asparagus, the truffle, everything I needed to make sure was coming in on Tuesday because there was no other solution.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so now you're back in New York working this schedule. Do you think that
half day?
It feels like a half day.
Feels like a half day. But there's other things that make it feel longer. You know, there's a lot of mental stress. So this definitely makes it feel longer. And I have longer days because with an opening you do longer days than maybe a restaurant that's more established.
Right.
Sorry, everyone.
Should we pause?
No. She's getting her lunchbox ready.
Okay, so we're back. I did Munchbox. I had to do it louder, so we had to turn it off. Nicole had to pee. Kristen had to pee. Anyway, we're back. And Kristen is shitting on our Munchbox. Why are you shitting on our Munchbox?
Yeah, Kristen does not like our
We'll tell you what the
Munchbox
Munchbox is, but she'll tell you her opinion first on the Munchbox.
First of all, just say what you're
thinking. First of all,
thinking.
Nicole said she was picking up 2 cheeses, so I decided to pick up 2 cheeses, and I was near an Arab supermarket, so I got myself Syrian cheese and then French cheese.
So for me, if you have a French cheese on the table, having crackers is like, it's not possible. It's a sin.
Okay.
Like you need to have a baguette.
First of all, also these crackers are super rosemary.
Yeah.
So like all I taste is rosemary.
Okay,
exactly.
First of all, I like these fucking rosemary crackers. Second of all,
rosemary crackers are good, but they're not good with Alsace cheese.
Yeah, all I'm tasting is rosemary, not like the cheese that I'm supposed to be like.
I had a very busy day today, apartment hunting, so I don't want to hear it.
She didn't.
Yeah, but if I knew,
I canceled the apartment.
If I knew you had cheese, I would have brought a baguette with me. If I knew you had cheese, I would have taken that baguette out of the freezer and
just like a baby.
I really
popped
like
it in the
Syrian
oven.
cheese though.
Okay, so Dahlia brought 2 different cheeses.
Shredded mozzarella, just wet, but it's not shredded, guys. It's like compact.
It's like a cross between a feta
and a mozzarella.
It's
like as creamy, but like also salty as feta.
Mm-hmm.
But very fresh.
Well, it was like soaking in juice.
Take those rosemary crackers.
So thank you. I'm sorry. We were slacking on Munchbox. Again, we've been very...
It's been a long couple weeks.
It's been busy. But anyway.
It's been a while.
You were in London. You decided to come back to New York.
Yeah.
Someone convinced you. Again, our father convinced us.
Yeah, because the plan was to go to south of France.
Oh, okay. So there was a different plan.
There was a different plan before COVID hit. I was going to... We got PAXed, which no one in the U.S. knows what that is.
Yeah, I had no idea what that means.
So it's like a civil partnership, kind of.
Okay.
So it's like just one step under being married. And we did this so that I wouldn't have any issues with getting a visa in France.
Okay.
For working.
It's like a domestic partnership.
Yeah, exactly. So we did this right before the pandemic. And then when the pandemic was happening, we were just hanging out. We were both getting paid to stay at home. So we were focusing on French lessons and exercising. and staying healthy.
Yeah.
And then
exercising what?
You were
and
doing.
having fun. I mean, we were having so much fun.
It was
we
the
were,
first time you guys ever had free time off together.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, we had Sundays and Mondays off together.
You had days
yeah,
off.
but it was more
I
like
mean,
sleeping and spending
you
your
guys
days.
get to actually cuddle and get to know each other in a different level.
Yeah. So we were making pizza. We were making baguette. We were.
I remember we called during when we started. Keisha asked me wanted to talk to you, and I asked you what your husband now is favorite thing to eat, and you said tacos, which is crazy.
Wait, his favorite thing to eat is tacos?
Yeah, because I was.
Which is crazy because I've never heard a French guy say like I'm gonna go get tacos right now.
Oh yeah, in London, he asked me so many times, "Can we go to a taco place?" I said, "No, I'm gonna make them at home." Because
were they good or no?
Yeah.
No, not yours. The one in London.
no, that's why I told him like we need to make them at home because for me, like with the culture that you have in the U.S. with
Tacos.
Mexican food in
Mexican
general.
food and in general, it's like so much beyond what French people and what like people from London are used to.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure you have places that are like tucked
Close.
away, no one knows about it, that are okay solid, but we didn't know about it, and I wasn't gonna like.
Yeah.
I said,
Spend
look.
money on shitty tacos.
So I found a place in London that had, it was like a Spanish Mexican shop that had really nice product, and I was buying all the product and making tacos
That's
at home.
fun.
Yeah. We got a mortier, mortar and pestle, and I was making guacamole. I was doing everything because for me that was much better than us trying to find a place to replicate it.
Yeah.
So I was doing that. I was entertaining a lot. We had a lot of friends come over. It was nice. It was very nice.
So
you were going to the south of France, and then COVID hit.
Yes. COVID hit, and then that's when I got the call from JFK. He had mentioned to me the situation with Le Pavillon and how they were opening, and they asked me to be the executive sous chef. So I spoke about it with Francois. I said, how do you feel about living there for a little bit? And we both came to the conclusion that it was a good next step for us.
Because he's never been here.
Never worked here. He's been here once before on vacation.
Okay. Yeah, which is totally different.
Totally different.
Vacationing in America is different than
Oh,
working
yeah.
in America.
Exactly. So, I mean, he's been here actually a couple of times because he went when he was 18 for 10 days. And then he went again when we first met because when I came home for a couple of years,
He
came to visit me.
in
So-
DC?
In DC, yeah.
Okay.
So he did have a little bit more of an idea of what he was getting himself into. But when it comes to restaurants, absolutely not. And this is something that I could tell him all day long, but he didn't get it until he walked in. It's so different because the volume we do
It's so different.
is so dramatically different than in Europe.
Does he accept it, or is he still questioning, like, what is this?
No, it's just more about like not understanding like how it has to be like this. It's just more about he's okay. It's just still very shocking.
Yeah.
You know, he's only been here for a couple months now, so it's normal. He's not going to really fully grasp it, I don't think, until a year in. I feel like a year in, he'll be like, okay,
I get it.
I get it. I understand.
Does he like it, though? Does he like the American way?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I mean, he was schooled on a lot of it, so he should be fine.
So I have a question. Out of all of the places you've worked and all of the places that you have experienced here, what is your favorite meal at all of these fine dining restaurants?
Ooh,
What's your favorite meal? Like,
To make or to eat?
no, to eat.
to eat. I had a really
Put the
great.
cheese fork back in.
Well, the first one that always pops up for me, I've had a lot of great dinners, but the one that like really stays close to my heart is when I did my stage at Ducasse before I worked there, with the one that Kareem set up for me. I was there from 8 a.m. until midnight, but I was
Working.
I was working all
Not
day,
eating.
hanging out, asking questions, asking a bunch of questions and whatever. And then around 7 o'clock when we went into dinner service, the chef is like, what was the executive sous chef at the time? His name's Jean-Philippe. He was like, oh, so what dishes you like? And I'm like, oh, well, I like this one. This one seems pretty nice. This one is really great. But all of them are beautiful. Mm-hmm. And he says, why don't you come up on the pass? And I said, okay. So I go up to the pass, and what I didn't realize, and now I've realized because I worked there for 2.5 years after, is that they do chef tasting menu on the pass. And you stand up and eat it.
Oh.
And I love this concept. So I had a 12-course truffle tasting menu for free. And it was one of the best experiences.
Each course had truffle?
Yeah.
Wow.
Including dessert?
Dessert, no.
Okay.
Dessert, no. But it was very...
You said white or black?
White. Excuse me, black.
Okay.
Black. Yeah, because I feel like with white, it's more difficult to do a white truffle.
With 12 courses.
I mean,
for
Nicole
12
knows.
courses.
For 12 courses.
It's a lot.
Because you can do a lot more things with black.
Yeah.
I feel like white
we talked
is
about
limited.
it on our episode
Yeah.
Yeah.
with Estelle. But
Yeah. So yeah, they do black. They did black, and I remember being like so shocked that they were giving me this menu, with it being my first day there. Mm-hmm. And just
It's
hanging
so
out
generous.
very generous. And he sees me into like course 6, and I'm starting to get full, but the courses were very big, and he's like, you don't need to eat everything. It's just for you to try. And I tried
Isn't
everything.
It crazy that people like go there like more than one time. And they eat like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then they gave me all the desserts. I tried every single one of them. I mean, I must have had 25 different courses.
Wow, that's amazing.
That experience alone, like, I almost had tears after that menu, because it was really, I mean, there might have been some things at the moment where I was like, oh, this is okay, this maybe you could change, but like the overall experience of the quality of the service they gave me, the seasoning of the food, the pairing of everything, just the different concept that I wasn't used to in other restaurants that I worked in. It was very, very nice. That was for sure my best one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as being a chef, like, I think what a lot of people, they imagine being a chef is what they see on, like, Food Network, right? Or on any of those TV shows.
You probably don't even watch Food Network.
Absolutely not.
No, none of us do.
Nobody
I'm just
does.
saying.
No, but it's what a lot of not listeners, but people just imagine Food
Yeah.
Network, and that's it. And this is that's what it means to be a chef. You're running around, you're screaming, you're busy. But what does it mean for you to be a chef?
That is a loaded question.
Yeah, I know it's a loaded question, and it's also a very annoying question, but...
I mean, there's a lot of things to being a chef. Obviously, you need to make a living. You need to be able to create a great working environment for everyone, which I believe is very top priority as well.
It's interesting that you say that, because I know that you're a very tough chef in the kitchen.
Yes.
To work for
Yes.
and with.
Right. But also, it's about also, for me, it's also about educating the guest, because I'm sure people don't agree with me on this one, but I strongly believe that, like, when you go out to eat, you should go to a place where they know what they're doing, and they want to tell you about it, and they want to tell you their story, and you learn something when you go out. It's not just about giving the guests everything that they want, because why would you do that when you can do that at home?
When you can teach them.
It's nice for a guest to be like, oh, well, I've never had that before, but I think I want to try it. I think that this is also super important. I don't think it's just about catering 125% to, like, well, this guest doesn't like this part of the dish, so they're going to change this, and oh, we shouldn't put this on the menu because not a lot of people like this. Yeah, but then you're changing your vision, and maybe they will respect you more for feeling strongly about you trying this dish with maybe a fish that they're not used to, you know?
Right. Or an ingredient that they're not comfortable with.
Do you think that's different because, like, Americans like their thing?
Exactly.
So,
and they need to be removed from it.
Different countries, you're probably just like, Americans need to grow the fuck up and, like, eat even things they don't know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people get grossed up at, like, gooey duck and stuff. And I'm just like, have you tried it? Did you taste it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I ate last night at a restaurant where it was a frisee salad with a poached egg, which is really classic, and a lot of times you would add lard onto it. But instead they added smoked eel. And for me, I love it. Like, I love smoked eel, but I think about all the other Americans in the world where they're like,
ew, smoked eel
smoked eel? But then you eat it, and they had it, like, caramelized, almost candied, like bacon would be, and crisp. And it was really delicious. But it's so interesting that I think about other Americans, and they would be off. Yeah. They would be put off by that.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, of course I'm going to order that.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not to say that, like, other countries don't have these same kinds of problems, but I feel like it does happen more and more
We're
here.
We're safer here for what we put on our menu.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're always putting too much, and, like, because we have to cater to all these different kinds of people, and it's like, when it comes to fine dining, I'm speaking for fine dining, not for brasseries or other types of, or cafes or whatever. You know, this is something I'm not quite familiar with, so I can't speak for that. But for me, if I'm going to a fine dining restaurant, you want to see what the chef wants to,
what they're doing,
what they believe is good for them, like what inspires them, and what they believe is you're gonna love, what they believe the guest is gonna love. And that's interesting for me. I just ate at Gabrielle Cruther last week, and it's a 2-star in New York, and there were some dishes that maybe I liked less, or I don't really quite understand this, but I loved the fact that each dish had a story as to why they put it on the menu.
Isn't it a small restaurant, so it's, like, super intimate in there?
I mean, it is smaller. It's not very, very small. I mean, probably my definition of small is different than yours.
Yeah.
But they do 140 maximum.
Oh, wait. Oh,
that is pretty big.
I thought it was a lot less.
They did they did a lot less the night I was there. They did like 40. But generally speaking, when they're busy, they can do 140.
Okay.
For the night.
Wow.
But I heard he always had, like, his goal was to, like, the chef's goal was to, like, always tell a story with his food.
Yeah. And I think that that's super important, and that's how people are educated on food more.
Doesn't the menu change there daily?
At Gabrielle Cruther?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't think so. This I don't know.
Okay, so
no,
I want to bring it back and say, like, out of all the guests we've had, we've talked about all different professions in the restaurant industry, but speaking here with Kristen, this is what everybody imagines when you're talking about a chef.
Yeah.
You have traveled the world. You have worked at some of the best restaurants in the industry.
What's next? If you were to own a restaurant, you want to own a restaurant, right?
I do, because the longer
chef/owner.
The longer you work for somebody else, the more you want to do your own thing.
So chef/owner, you want to own it. Where would it be, since you've been all over Europe and now you've been East Coast, West Coast? I always think location's like the tough decision for everyone. Everyone's like, yeah, I want to own a place. I'm like, but where?
And you're going to own a place. In my opinion, Kristen is going to be like one of the best chefs in the world one day.
Well, that's very nice of you.
One day.
I hope that is the case. I really hope so, but I don't know
Based
for sure.
off your passion and your drive and
no, I feel it.
You feel
when I get money, I'll be your investor.
Yeah, when I get rich, I'll invest in your company.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing you have to think about too when you open your own place is, do you want an investor or do you want a partner?
What do you want?
Because it's very different. Investor.
Okay.
100%.
Partner always has too much to say.
Too many opinions.
They have too many opinions. They want to get in and they want to like, oh, you feed this person for free on me. Or you're just like, I can't keep,
Yeah.
I mean, even investors have obligations. You need to uphold to.
It's more paper,
but it's more paper,
yeah,
and it's more dollar amounts and all that kind of stuff. Whereas with a partner, it's like it's very different. So, in an ideal world, yes, an investor would be great.
Don't die.
For us.
Yeah, so where?
It'll be either New York or France.
The south of France.
Mm-hmm. It'll
That's
probably
it?
maybe Nice, or I think Nice is probably the best because
I can't imagine you settling down into New York. For me, I don't think long term that's what you really want.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either.
But we needed Kristen in New York.
We do.
You know what I mean? Like we need.
We do.
We need a
Kristen and
There's
Francois.
a lot of powerful women chefs in New York City, but like we need a fucking Kristen. You know what I mean?
We got to think about the name of the restaurant too now, because it was going to be Bourgeois.
Bourgeois.
No,
Why can't it not?
Because Francois is half of it now.
Bourgeois Audier.
So what?
Yeah.
Voila.
So I don't understand. Why not?
Yeah, I mean,
you already gave away your last name to take his, so just make your restaurant
I didn't give anything away. I added his name to mine.
Oh, there you go.
Let's be crystal clear for that one.
I'm gonna do the same
Whoa,
thing.
whoa, whoa,
And
whoa,
I did the
whoa.
same thing. Yeah.
I didn't give my name away.
Good.
Calm down, Nicole. I didn't give my name away. None of us women are gonna give our names away, which
No.
is nice.
I thought it was very funny because my sisters are quite strong-hearted as I am. They are not in my business, nor will they want to be at all
Or understand.
or understand.
Yeah.
They have no idea what I do, but they called me up when I told them I was getting married, and both of them called me up and they said, "So, are you gonna change your name?"
Wow. Are they strong about their last name too?
We are very proud.
I think you should be.
We are all
You
three of
should.
us are very proud.
Are
And
they married?
No.
Oh, okay. So you're the first one married.
I'm the first one married.
And they're probably like, yes, now we don't have to do that either. Like, we can.
Okay, but you have a nephew.
I do.
What is his last name? Did he take the father's last name?
I don't know what she did. That's a good question. I think she kept it on her last name.
What are you doing with your kids? You giving them both?
I would like to give them both.
I would like to give them both, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Both.
I have to talk about that with our ghost host. I haven't really decided.
No, but I think we need to change that fucking vibe around and just. I think I sort of wish I had my mom's last name too, which I think I could change it, but like then I would have 4 fucking last names.
Right, it's a lot.
So like
It's
I
a
don't
lot.
need it. But you know what I mean? Like my mom's last name is Santiago, and I liked it as a kid, and she never changed her last name. So like her picking me up at school, like they'd be like, "You can't pick up this girl. You don't have the same last name." And she's like, "I'm their mother. I just didn't change." She was like one of the few people in the world that like didn't change her last name to her husband's
that's
name.
awesome.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like in the 90s, she did that.
Yeah, that's
like
great.
no one understood it. They're like, "Why would you do that?" She's a daddy's girl. That's why.
Well, no,
I like your last name.
there
so.
was no.
it's special.
Yeah.
It's really special, and
a lot of it is the reason why like I felt impelled to like find my roots, you know,
In
because
in France.
because I am French descent, but you know, from way back, like my ancestors are from Quebec, and they moved to Louisiana. So it's a lot of
That is a switch.
yeah.
wow.
Like
So they're
before-
France, Quebec.
France, Quebec, and then
And then to
Louisiana.
and
Louisiana.
then Louisiana.
Louisiana has good food too.
Yeah.
Have you been?
No, not yet.
Okay,
I'm
we're gonna
You
go.
have to
We're gonna go.
But I don't want to like.
Yeah,
I
we're
want
gonna sit here and banter about
Yeah,
Louisiana.
I don't want to like keep talking too much about Louisiana, but
Yeah.
I think that it's really awesome that we had a female chef on here, a chef. I'm not going to say female chef because Kristen looked at me like she hates that I said that.
Yeah, you
No,
hate-
no.
No, but you were actually one of the first people that says, "I'm not a female chef. I'm just a chef."
Yeah.
And I like that. Like we should
Yeah.
always be saying that.
No, but to have a chef here who is not looking back, who is not stopping, who is
we
never
didn't
giving
have-
up her dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my dream is different from yours. It's different from Dahlia's. It's different from so many people. But the fact that you are a chef and you are going to own your own restaurant and you're going
Nicole's gonna start crying.
to be one of...
No,
I'm
she's not.
There's something in my eye, but like I'm not going to cry. I'm not a crier.
I'm definitely more of a crier.
I'm such a crier.
It's so crazy that the two of you are more of a crier than
I
me.
know, and we're like assholes. And Nicole's like, I don't cry. And I'm like,
I don't cry. Like, I can't feel other.
She's just dead inside.
I'm dead inside. No, I just can't feel my full emotions when I'm around other people. When I'm by myself, like, I feel it all. Trust me. But anyways, thank you, Kristen, for coming here and talking about your dreams.
Do you have any advice for anyone that wants to follow in your footsteps?
Yes. The only thing that is the most important is motivation and drive. You don't need to be great at everything. If you have the motivation and drive and discipline, you're going to be great at it no matter what.
Awesome. I love that.
That's awesome.
That's a good one.
So that's 100% all I've been writing on for the past 15 years. So I stand very true to that. And that's it.
Thank you.
So thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And hopefully we'll see Kristen's names on the Michelin Star Guide or...
We will. It'll take a little bit of time, but
it's okay.
It's going to be
enough.
there.
Soon enough.
Yeah.
And this is where you started, just letting you know. This is Quiche My Ass. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram at Quiche My Ass Pod. And we're also on Podbean, iTunes. It's Apple. I don't know why I keep saying iTunes.
Yeah, Apple, YouTube.
Don't download
Instagram.
on LimeWire like we used to. You know what I mean? YouTube. Yes. Yeah, YouTube. Deuces. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.